Alright, this tutorial is going to be on a flare, and I can't guarantee you that my flare is perfect, because I really don't have, like, perfect flares yet, but I do have the concept of, like, getting one flare, and I have the concept of, like, at least getting 2 or 3. So, I would like to start off with, like, most people know of, like, how flare starts. You go off like this. Now, from this starting point is, like, when the first problems start coming in. Like, for example, you put your dominant arm, which is your starting arm, and which my case is my right arm. I put it too close to my kicking leg, which is my case as well, my left leg. So, what you want to do is don't put it too close to like your kicking leg. Otherwise, when you're gonna be swinging out, you're gonna be able to start it, but if you have like the general concept, but you won't be able to finish. Like as I'll show you. Right arm close to my kicking leg, and then try and do a flare, and this is what happens. I'm not able to do it. But if I were to like keep it right in the middle between my legs and kind of a little bit more towards to like my kicking leg, my swinging leg, I mean, I'll be able to like get it better. So here's when it's a lot closer to like my swinging leg. This is what will happen. I'll be able to do it, and I know that was kind of bad. I kind of landed off wrong, but anyway. Besides that, that's one of the things that most people need to know. It's where your hand starts off as well. And the way I do it, my swinging leg is like behind where my left leg is at. So it's not like a perfect straight line like this. It's kind of like a diagonal line like this. So that's another thing of like how your legs are positioned, and that's pretty much the first part of like positioning to do a flare. Now this is when like most people start getting their troubles, and it's like when they're trying to like kick their left, they're trying to kick their kicking leg up to get them to lift, and there really isn't much of a fix up to this except just keep practicing. That's the one thing that can help you. The one thing I did like a thing where to practice the kicking up, I did like a mini flare. I kind of called it, and it was basically kind of like doing like a six step, but going into a flare from it. And it was kind of like I did like the first 2 steps of a 6-step, and then I kicked my left leg up, and then I kind of did a flare like that. So here's like how I will show it. Like 1, 2, 3. That was like how I practiced like the whole kicking up with my left leg. And here it is again. 1, 2. And that's pretty much it for like practicing that kicking up. Just practice it like swinging up like that. And that's what you want to do. I prefer like learning the whole kicking with my left leg up from doing it from that 6-step position, because from that you're not gonna have a lot of height, but you're not supposed to have a lot of height in the beginning, because if you have a lot of height, it means that you're gonna fall down even harder, because you probably don't even know the technique yet. So you don't want to have too much height in the beginning when you're first starting out, otherwise you're just gonna fall in your rear end. So that also leads me back to another point as well. When people do their flares, they focus on so much about height in the front because it also means height in the back. But because of this, they don't have like the general concept of like the whole flare yet. And because of that, they keep falling down on their rear end, or their arms just give out on them because they're just so high up and they're not able to like go to the back with it. And that's because they're jumping into their flares, and this is what I mean by jumping into it. Their swing leg doesn't like swing at all. It goes like it swings very high up. And unless you're like experienced with a flare, you can jump into a flare. but it's not recommended for a beginner. So I can show you like what it looks like when you're jumping into a flare. And here's what it looks like. I can do it because I have like experience, experience with like knowing how to do one flare. And here's what it looks like again. Jumping. Notice how like when I was swinging my left leg back, it was scraping down with the floor a lot. That's kind of like the result of like jumping into your flare, because you're gonna be so high up. You don't have. I'm not really familiar with being that high up. I'm kind of like low in the front as well. So that's pretty much the thing about jumping. Don't jump your flare until you got the flare technique down. And next portion of this is that it's not just like the kicking up that gets you around. It's the swinging of your hips as well. And it's the swinging of your swinging leg as well. So it's not just like kicking up that gets you around. It's all with your legs and your hips. It's not just like one singular motion. It's multiple motions at the same time, which is what makes this move slightly complicated. So what you want to do is that you're going to kick up first with your kicking leg, and then once you do that, that will make way for like your swinging leg to go through. And as soon as that happens, put your left hand down. In my case, which is in my case my left hand because it is my dominant hand, and put it down quick. Don't put it down like too close to each other like this, and don't put it down like this, and don't have like your hands positioned like this when you're doing a flare, because you're gonna over rotate your wrist. Don't just keep it in like shoulder length, and keep them in like this position. Don't put them like too far out like this. Put them in shoulder length. That's the like recommended position that you want to do them in. And once you do that, you're gonna be in like a V position with your legs. And once you're in that position, you're gonna be like swinging. You're gonna like kick now with your right leg up. And I don't want to say like kick to your ear because it kind of looks like a bad form. But think of it like kick to your shoulder like this. Try and kick to your shoulder. And once that happens, this is the part that everybody messes up on. And this is the part where everybody is not able to get to the back of their flare. And this was a problem that I had for like several months until I figured I tried out several different things. And this is what I'm going to tell you. The left arm, that in my case, my non-dominant arm, it doesn't mean that you only use it to like bring your arms down like that just to keep you balanced. This arm has to be strong. I'm telling you this because when I do this, my arm kept collapsing like this, and I kept ending my flare like that. My arm kept collapsing like this, and I kept ending it, and it was because I didn't have like the ample amount of strength for my left arm. And it was also because I wasn't pushing down on the ground with my left arm. And that's also another important aspect. You need to be pushing down with both of your arms always. As soon as one arm is down, push down with it. And that's what you need to do. Otherwise, you won't be able to like continue your flare. Or finish it in that case. So, once you do that, once you like kick your right leg up, push down with your left arm. And once you have that down, you have to like swing like your kicking leg back. And while you're doing that, you want to like push or swing your hips back as well. Think of it like this. The direction of like your swinging has to correlate with the direction of like your hip swinging. So if you're gonna be swinging with your leg, your hips have to be swinging as well. So your swinging and with your hips and legs have to be at least the same time. So once you put all that together, you should be able to do one flare. Now some people have a problem with like their legs falling, like their kicking leg up like they're kicking the leg up to go to the back, and then it just drops down like that. That's kind of normal because you're not used to like having it up like that. So over time, you're just gonna like develop it, and like you're gonna get used to like having it up and like keeping it up, and over time it'll just disappear. Like some people just have that problem, and over time when they keep doing it over and over and over, it'll soon just disappear, and they'll be able to like keep continuing. And that's pretty much it just to how to do one flare. Now to clean it up a little bit more, there's several tips I could give you for like getting it a little bit higher in the front and back. And I'm gonna like, here's like a recap of like how to do it better now. So you're going into your flare, right? So like that. Once you're doing that, puff your chest up. When you're doing that, you're gonna as well be lifting your hips up as well when you do that. So when you puff your chest up, you're gonna be lifting your hips up as well. So think of it like this: if you like put your chest down like this, your hips are gonna be down. But if you puff your chest up like this, your hips are gonna be up as well. And that's the thing of like how to get your flare higher. You puff your chest up, and then when you're going to the back, you puff your chest in. Not like out, otherwise it'll look kind of awkward, but you're trying to like puff it in. So that way you'll be like, kind of, how should I say, kind of like this, kind of like in this position. And once that happens, you need to have like a slant type of figure. So when you're in the back of the flare, you're kind of like in this type of position, kind of like slanted. And when you're in the front of your flare, you're gonna be kind of slanted with your arms like in this type of position as well. And that's pretty much it for a flare. To continue, I'm not the best at continuing a flare. I know how to do one flare, but continuing it is another matter. It's not like a windmill where if you can do one, you can do like 10. It's not like that. If you can do one flare, it doesn't mean that you can immediately go into 10 flares. It means that you have to pretty much relearn your flare all over again from scratch. And once you have like 2 flares very clean, you'll have like the general concept of like continuing it for more. So for continuing it, you're gonna be in the back, right? And once that happens, you're gonna be kicking back. You're gonna be kicking your left leg up and swinging, and this is all gonna happen in like the same motion as well. It's not gonna be like when you started off and you could just like start with the swinging leg and then your kicking leg will soon follow. It has to be all like a singular motion, it has to be 1, 2, 1, 2. Most power moves usually follow like a rhythm. And as well, like I said before, with my left arm pushing down on the ground, you're gonna be kind of like that with your right arm instead again when you're in the back. So you're gonna be in the back, and then you're gonna be like this. So that's the moment that you're still gonna be pushing down with your right arm, and then that's the moment that you're just gonna like flare with your legs, like kick up and then swing. And that's the part where you're just going to be using your arm. And I think I've pretty much hit all the grounds that I know of like flares. I'm not the best at flares, but this is all the knowledge that I know of flares that I can give to you. And these are how all my flares are like. Again, I'm not the best at flares, so if you have any tips for me, feel free you can message me and I could like learn from you if you have any better tips to this. If you have any questions or anything and want me to answer them, just message me or send me a video and I can see what I can do. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the flare tutorial, because I'm really not the best at it. I know what to do for it, but I'm really not the best at this move. So if you have any tips or have any questions, just message me.